Hello friends, I'm delighted to welcome you all to this webinar on how to use data analytics in a few clicks. Let me share my screen and we'll get started. This webinar will be in two parts. The first part, I'm going to just give the brief concepts of what data analytics is all about. And then we'll go on to practical demo of how to use data analytics. I hope you're all able to see my screen. Let me just check. Excellent. Let's go ahead. As I said, this is a webinar on Learn to Cat, how you can perform powerful analytics in a few clicks. Let me give a brief introduction about myself. I'm C. Abdul Rafiq, Managing Director of Finser Infotech Limited. I've been passionate about technology and right from my CA days. And I passed my CA in 1985 and CISA in 1995. And I've been focusing only on IT-enabled services. Since the last 10 to 15 years, I've devoted my career or life, you can say, in developing innovative solutions for chartered accountants, because I realized for most of the CAs, we don't have specific solutions. And I have been using various types of solutions. And then I thought, why not develop solutions which could be useful for most of the CAs, which will help them to optimize the time and enhance productivity. Now, this is the vision of our company. We aspire to be a global leading solution provider. We believe in scaling up in a big way in the near future. We believe in revolutionizing assurance, compliance, and consulting services. I can definitely tell you the type of solutions we have. Very few people in the world have this type of solutions, especially focused on chartered accountants. And these are innovative software solutions based on my own experience and based on the feedback from hundreds of chartered accountants throughout India. These are the 4 key learning objectives which I wanted to cover in this particular session. This theory part we'll cover in 12 to 15 minutes. And then I want to show you practically how you can perform powerful analytics in a few clicks, taking practical case study. Key concepts, we'll cover the key concepts and questions of data analytics. What are the 7 steps of using data analytics? Third, we'll look at key features analytics. What are the tools and techniques? And then we'll have the demo of data analytics. For this, I think I'm going to take up a bank branch audit file, and then we'll ask questions to data. What are the key concepts you want to cover? We know most of the files or the data is available in digital format. Anything you want to access, we should be able to learn how to access and analyze this digital data. And they say leadership begins with thinking, especially when you want to apply thought to technology. It's important that you should know how to ask the right questions. Recently, I came across a website, Data Bolta Hai, which means data talks. When I pondered over it, I realized data doesn't talk by itself. Data ko bulwana padta hai, which means we should know how to make that data talk. And this is what I'm going to show you through the demonstration of various techniques of how you can make the data talk to you. You can interrogate the data and get the right answers, but you should be able to ask the right questions. And data analytics, they say, is all about asking right questions by using the right software, by using the right technique, so that you can solve problems. Chartered accountants, I believe, are creative problem solvers. And data analytics is a technique which actually helps you in a big way. Let's look at some of the key questions pertaining to data analytics. And these are some of the questions we want to ask. What type of data analytics, what type of questions can data analytics answer? We can look at the past in terms of what happened. We can get insights, and we can also get foresight. Now here, mostly in the case of CAs, we are primarily looking at hindsight and insight. And when we look at advanced data analytics, we can also look at foresight, which means you're looking at in terms of predictions and do predictive analysis. In most of our cases as CAs, we are focused more on looking at what happened in the past and also get insights into the current status of the problems. Why data analytics software? They say data analytics software is a must-have capability for the audit function, for the auditors, and is widely expected to become a big part of its future. Now, every professional has a tool, and data analytics, one of the key and most important tool set for a CA or for an auditor. What is data analytics all about? Data analytics, they say, is defined as the science of examining raw data with the purpose of drawing conclusions about that information. Now, if you look at any software, the software accepts data input from the user or the customer, processes that, and provides a report to the user. In the case of data analytics, we are interested in getting the reports from the software by using the features of reporting which are available in the software, or in many cases, we get access to the data directly in the form of the tables, or we export the data elements as required. I'll show you practical examples a little later, and then analyze the data to confirm whether the processing of data has been correctly and completely done, and if there are any irregularities and exceptions. Now let's look at how to perform powerful analytics in a few clicks. There are 7 steps. I'm going to quickly walk through the 7 steps. Before that, it's widely said that data is the new oil. But to use a new oil, we should have the right engine. We should know how to unlock this power. And data analytics is the engine which actually helps you, which empowers you to use this data. Let's look at the 7 steps of using data analytics. First, in any assignment, we should be clear about what do we want to accomplish, which means we establish the objectives and the deliverables. What do you want to deliver through that assignment? Next, we look at what are the data, what are the platform in which the data is available so that we can access that particular data. We understand the process and the system. Third, we document the controls and tests we want to perform, and then we apply the specific tools and techniques. And we should be able to draw in inference and insights, and based on that, we'll prepare the outputs and reports. I'll walk you through the steps, these steps one by one when I start giving the practical demo of the software. Data analytics, if you have to summarize all that we've discussed so far, is all about applying thought to data for the purpose of inferring insights. Now let's look at how to perform analytics in a few clicks. What are the key features of analytics? What are the tools and techniques? And I'm going to use the software which is developed by us called as ECAT. ECAT is India's first CAT software. It's developed by auditors for auditors to audit any digital data. This has been developed over a team effort of more than 25 man-years. The beauty of ECAT is it's an add-in to MS Excel. Anyone who knows MS Excel can use and learn data analytics. And this can be used for any type of assignment. You also have complex audit software, which takes few hours, not few hours, a few days to learn, and it's quite expensive. Whereas you find most of the things, most of the features or functions which are available in complex audit software is available in ECAT, and you can learn how to perform in a few minutes or a few hours. Now there are 2 versions of ECAT. One is ECAT Enterprise, which is a high-end data analytics BI for enterprise and CXOs. We also have ECAT Pro, which is a data analytics software, which is specially designed for CAs and teams. Both of them have the same look and feel. The only difference is, in the case of ECAT Enterprise, there are more than 380 functions, whereas in the case of ECAT Pro, we have got 120 functions, which are primarily designed from the audit or the CA perspective. In both the cases, you can perform complex analysis in a few clicks. Not only that, the software automatically documents every step you performed, and it will also help you to re-perform that particular task as and when you want. Now, if you just have a quick look at the comparison and the type of features which is used for, now let's look at the panels. You have the Curate panel, which is primarily has functions which could be Excel enhancers. you are using Excel, let me assure you that if you're using Excel for 3 to 4 hours, you can definitely save 50% of the time when you start using ECAT for performing specific functions. It's not that everything which is Excel is there in ECAT, but many of the complex advanced functions where if you have to perform in Excel will take you considerable amount of time, you can do the same thing in a few clicks using ECAT. Curate is primarily to purify the data or curate the data and get it ready for audit. Profile is where you profile the data to get a high-end perspective or a top-down perspective of what the data is all about. Analyze the sampling is where you perform data analytics of fraud investigation. You also have panel for investigate and relate, where you can join two files and make comparisons. You also have documentation features. You also have utilities and tools. Now this gives you a list of the functions which are there in ECAT Enterprise and ECAT Pro. If you look at from the point of the features, now this gives you a list of all the functions. So ECAT software has been designed like a 5-star buffet. Depending on the need, you can choose what you want. It is not necessary to start using the software. You need to learn all the 126 functions or all the 387 functions of ECAT Enterprise. Based on the Pareto principle, you see that if you're able to use 20 to 30% of the functions, you'll be able to perform reasonably well in all types of audit. So I'm coming to the conclusion of this presentation. The concepts, 7 key benefits of using ECAT. So you know that it enhances your skills and tools. It increases the productivity of a time. You can do analytics and assurance. What assignment you're doing much more faster. It provides better assurance with greater assurance. And you can also provide validation to your clients. And you can grow your professional team and esteem. And it also accelerates your income earning capability, because as a professional, time is money and helps you save time and also provide more value through your time. It also helps you be recognized as a thought leader. So as all said, we are looking at how we can empower you to apply thought to technology using data analytics. How does ECAT help in data analytics? This summarizes all the discussion we have. You have the knowledge, you have the domain expertise and the skills, and we provide you the tools and techniques which you can learn and apply on the data which you got. And this helps you in providing validation for all the stakeholders. Who are the users of ECAT? ECAT can be used by auditors, fraud investigators, management, and CXOs. Now, what are the 7 steps for using ECAT? So this gives you the 7 steps. Get the data ready for data analytics. That's where you do the curate and get the data. One important principle when you want to use ECAT is the data should be in a tabular format. It's not necessary you should create it as a table, but it's important that you should ensure that the first row has the column names, and these column names are unique and do not have any special characters or spaces. Otherwise, when you open that particular file in ECAT, the first thing which ECAT does is it does validation to confirm whether the column names and the data is in conformance with the ECAT usage. So always we say make a copy of the files and perform analysis on a copy of the file. You can perform harness sheet to get the data in the right format, get the headers, everything right. And then you document what are the things you want to do. For example, each of the fields, okay, what are the business rules pertaining to that? What are the type of questions you can ask? I'll show you in next 5 minutes, I'll show you a demo of how this can be done. You can also delete the fields which are required. Quite often when you get the data, it may have a lot of fields which may not be relevant. So it's also important that you prepare the data dictionary, which is listing all the field names, write the purpose of that particular field name, what are the business rules for that. And if there are fields which are not relevant for your audit or which have a common field, for example, in some case they say there is a year and the year is repeated for all the transactions, then we don't need to have it. So if there's a common field which is not useful for analysis, you can as well delete that file so that the processing is much more faster. So this is where you review the field formats and change it to the required format. Quite often when you get the data from, let's say, different software, it could be possible the data may not be in the right format. So it's always preferable that you use, let's say, the Excel feature of filter and check whether the characters are all the character fields, whether you got the date has only date fields. And there are also functions if the date is not in the right format, you can also fix the format using Excel or some specific ECAT features. Now you should remember that ECAT can be used for performing the functions and display the results, but the user must be able to use his subject matter expertise, his or her subject matter expertise, and be able to draw the inference. This is what I said. Data bolta nahi, data ko bulwana padta hai. So it means you should know how to extract inference from the data. So this gives you summary. In the case of Excel, you can compare it as a single knife, whereas ECAT is like a multi-dimensional Swiss knife. Now this gives you a list of the functions as per the panels. So you can do more in less time using ECAT. So let's look at the demo. I said 15 minutes I've covered 15 minutes the concepts. Now let's go to practical demo of data analytics. What I'd like to do is I have picked up, let's say about 15 functions, 15 to 16 functions. I'm going to perform these functions, each of them one by one on specific data. I may use the test data, or I got a bank advance file, loan advance file, on which we are going to do the audit, asking specific questions. Okay, now let me close my presentation. This is the end of my presentation. Now we are going to get into the practical aspects. Now I thought instead of giving you a perspective of what data analysts all about using or sample data, I thought let me take up a practical case where I have an advanced file, and then I'm going to pick up this advanced file and see how we can do the analysis. Before that, there is one more thing I want to close. Now ECAT or ECAT Pro, now if you see here, ECAT Enterprise, every month we come with new updates. Now if you see here, this is the update for 1st May 21. We had made some enhancement to the SoundX function, which is there in Fuzzy Match. We added a new option called Ignore Others. We also add some more new function called a normal or full string. We also updated the top last text functions. We also updated the sampling functions. So each of the month there will be a release, and we keep on updating the software. So this will give you the release notes, will give you a quick update for the software. Similarly, if you come to the ECAT Pro, this gives you a perspective of what is there in ECAT Pro. Some of the functions, as I said, ECAT Pro is probably 1/3 of what is there in ECAT, but it has the most relevant functions for audit. So if you see here, identify fuzzy match arrange. So what are the new features we added? Similarly, profile statistics. We also updated the top last text function. We also updated the sampling functions. Like that, if you see, each of the month we keep on updating and adding new functions. For example, let's say in the month of January, we added some new functions to ECAT Pro. It's actually 6 new functions to ECAT Pro. This release file will tell you where the function is located. It also gives you a brief description of what the function is all about. And we also update the help, so you can do this. In fact, from next month onwards, I want to come out with a separate video for each of the releases where I'll cover the updates. In a separate video, I'll cover all the updates which have been made in that month's release. So if you see here, this is the release of 1/12/20. Like that, we keep on coming with new updates, and also whatever bugs we identify or we get to know from our customers, we ensure that these are resolved. Now enough of theory. Now let's come to practical. Now this is a file of a bank. Now if you see here, there are about 3,425 rows. Okay. Now what are the fields? Let's have a quick look at the fields, understand what are the fields, and look at what are the questions we can ask this data. I thought this is a better approach where we directly ask the questions. Then I'll show you some of the functions which are already performed, and some of the functions I'm going to perform, so that you know how to perform these functions and how simple it is to perform these functions. Now let's look at the account number. So in the case of bank, you know that account number has to be unique. Okay, which means there cannot be any duplicates in this. How to verify whether there are no duplicates in this? Now I can just go to a function called identify duplicates. Based on that, I can identify whether any duplicates. Now account description. Account description is the type or the category of the loan which has been given. For example, let's say this is the HTL housing loan for staff. This is the STU loan staff ward. Like that, they've got different categories: housing loan for clerical staff, housing loan for supervisory staff. Like that, they've got different types of categories of loans. Now, what are the type of questions I would like to ask? In the account description, I would like to know what are the categories of loans which are being there, and what are the number and the sum. So that based on that, I can decide if I want to do sampling or verification of the documents. I can pick up the top X or top, let's say top 10, or I can pick up random some of the documentation. Now let's come to the customer number. Now when I say customer number, what is the relationship between the customer number and the account number? The account number could be unique. The customer number is also unique for that particular customer. So it means if the customer has a name which is definitely true. The customer will have the customer number, but for each customer, there may be multiple account numbers. We'll also check that. How can we verify what are the customer numbers? And for each of the customer, how many numbers have been loan we have been given. Now, similarly, I've added a new field here because some cases I found they added this Miss and this prefix Miss, Shri, Mr. like that. And some cases they are not, because I want to find duplicates. I do not want this prefix. So I've removed this. This is the customer without the prefix. Now, this is a limit, which means this is a limit which has been sanctioned to each of the account numbers. This gives you the interest rate which is applicable. What are the questions I can ask for the interest rate? What are the lowest rate? What are the highest rate? And for each scheme, what are the lowest and the highest rate, so that I can verify are there any discrepancies. Similarly, the opening balance which is available here, I would like to stratify this and look at, okay, in terms of the opening balances, what are the grouping of these opening balances. Similarly, I got the outstanding. Here also I can summarize based on each unique outstanding balance, or I can also stratify based on the outstanding to group them into, let's say, what are the loans which are outstanding from 1 lakh to 5 lakhs, 5 lakh to 10 lakhs. Now, this gives me a list of the irregular accounts. I would like to know how many irregular accounts are there. I can pick up this information. I have the sanction date. Now, for example, I'm doing the audit for the financial year 31st March 21. I would like to pick up all the dates of the sanction which are there. Plus, when I'm looking at, let's say, the NPAs, I would like to look at what are the loans which have been granted right from the beginning to the till the end of the year. So in that case, maybe I'll apply MIS function. I'll show you that so that I can get to know year-wise what are the loans which have been granted. I can also know what the count and the sum. You also have the EMIs due here. So this also I can stratify based on what are the number of EMIs due for each of the balances. And they also got EMIs paid, and you also got the EMIs overdue. So based on the EMIs overdue, let's say I stratify and group them based on the EMIs overdue. I should be able to know that if, let's say, it's a monthly EMI, then in that case it's outstanding for more than 9 months, then it becomes an NPA. I'm just giving a general example. Okay, like that for each of these, I should be able to get an idea. Okay, what is the data all about and what type of analysis I can do? I used a fuzzy match function called as fuzzy match arrange. Based on that, I was able to rearrange the names, and then based on that, I was able to identify duplicate. For example, in one case, let's say it is given as Sambit Rat. Another place it could have been given as Rat Sambit. Okay, so in this case, what happens when you rearrange? It rearranges everything in alphabetic order inside for each of the words inside the cell, so that you'll be able to identify duplicates based on this. Okay, now this is a concept. Now let's come back and look at what are the type of analysis we have done. Now first, let me see. I want to classify this based on the customer name, which means I want to know how many number of loans have been granted for each of the customer. Now I've already done this. I'll show you the result. If you see here, in this case, I got based on the customer name without the prefix, I got the number and I got the limit and I got the outstanding. Now, if you want to sort this, you know how it can be done. I just go here and sort it. So based on that, I know this is the number of loans which have been given. This party has been given 6 loans. Now here, when I get this, I cannot find out, but I'll perform the function and show you how you can actually pick up what are the loans which have been given to this Duryodhan Sahu. Okay, like that I can get to know what are the number of loans which have been granted for each of the customers, and then I can also find out are there any irregularities in this. Okay, now let's get started with the functions. I got this advances. What is the first thing I want to perform? Let's say based on the customer name prefix, I want to know what the count and the sum. So I come to ECAT. Let's say ECAT is the software which I got. Now when I click on this ECAT, all these functions which are available are the functions which are available in ECAT Enterprise. Now you see the curate panel, profile, analyze, investigate, documents, utilities, tools, etc. Now what I would like to do in this case is I go to data, I say classify. Now I want to classify based on the customer without prefix. I just select and I want total of the outstanding. That's all. And I say okay. Now this should be able to do, therefore the 3,400 accounts what we got, we should be able to give me the count for each of the customer name and also the sum and the percentage. In this case, I didn't select the percentage. Otherwise, you would have given the sum percentage. Also, I got the average, minimum, max. That also I could have got for each of the loans. Now, if you see here, in a few seconds, you got the result. I got this for each of the name. This is arranged alphabetically as per the customer name. Now, I want to sort this based on the count. So I do a single click. Now, this should be able to sort based on the descending order or the ascending order. Now here I told you, you remember, I talked about this person. Now he has got 6 loans. What is the type of 6 loans he has given? I just do a double click. Now I can do a drill down from the 3426 query, this one data which is available. It does a query and I'm able to get quickly what are the loans which have been granted to this particular customer. Now if you see here, this is what we got. Okay, let me just see. It's gone to the background. Okay, now let me double click again. Now if you see here, this is what I got for this. Now I get to know that this person has, these are the type of loans which has taken. Okay, so I can sort this. Let's say I want to look at who are the customers who have been given, who are the maximum outstanding. I just do a single click here. Now here, based on this, I can get. Now here, I would like to know why this amount with 0 amounts are also there. I can analyze and check why these accounts are being retained instead of being closed. Now, if you see here, based on the total amount, I should be able to sort it. I've got this. Now, I want to pick up all the loan accounts which are, let's say, greater than, let's say, 50 lakhs. Okay, let's just get this. Yeah, this is what you got. Now, here, I first have to give greater than, and I say, now these are the loans greater than 50 lakhs. There are 10 loan accounts which are greater than 50 lakhs. Now, what are the loan accounts which are greater than 40 lakhs? So this is where I said you can make the data talk. You can ask the data some questions and you can get what are the numbers. For example, you want to pick up all loans which are greater than 20 lakhs. You find there are 79 accounts which are greater than 20 lakhs. This is how you can analyze the data and you can interrogate the data. Now you want to extract this loan accounts, just save this in Excel. All the 79 account detail will be saved in Excel. Okay, so this is how we perform the analysis. This is what I showed you. Now let's look at duplicate identification. Now in this case, what I would like to know is what are the accounts which are duplicates, because this function takes a little time. I've already performed based on the customer name. Now if you see, this gives me a list of all the functions which are duplicate, which means for each customer, how many loans have been given. For example, this party, 2 loans have been given. This particular party, 2 loans have been given. I'm able to get this. So it means I know how many times that customer has been repeated. Now let me come to this. This is what I was talking about. Here, what I'm looking at is for each of the account description, I want to know what are the count and what is the sum of limit and what is the outstanding. Now here, I've already saved this in the Excel file. Now let me perform this function again. What is that I'm interested in? I want to group it based on the account description. Simple, same thing I do. I just go to the classify. Now here, I want to do based on the account description and I want the total of the outstanding. Okay, so what do I expect to get? For each category of loan, I should be able to know what are the total outstanding, which means for each category of loan, it gives me the count and it gives me the sum. Now let's say I sort this again. Now if you see here, SBI pension loan, 767 loans, this Express Credit June 510 accounts, like that I'll get a complete this one summary of all the loans which have been granted. Now let's say I want a grouping for each of the categories. I want to know as per the customer. Can I get that? Yes. How do I do that? I'll show you that also. Let's say in this case, I do classify. So in this case, I say account description and I say, let's say I want total of the limits and I say group by. When I say group by, I say based on the customer name, I'll be able to know for each of the account description as per the customer name, it will give me the list. Okay, now let's say I'm not doing this. What I'd also like to do is I would like to compute. Let's say in this case, let's see what I've selected. I've selected the account description. Now let me cancel this. I want to pick up the customer name and for each customer name, I have this outstanding and the limit which I picked up. Okay, now I'm not going to just get the total here. I want to compute, which means I want to compute in this case, what are the cases where the outstanding is minus limit. What will it show me? What are the cases where the outstanding is greater than the limit? So I add this field and I say, okay. Now this will automatically compute outstanding minus limit for all the loan accounts and give me the result. Now, I'm not interested in looking at all the loan accounts. I'm interested in only picking loan accounts which are greater than, which means the outstanding is greater than the limit. Then there's one more function called compare, using which I can actually pick up only accounts where the limit is exceeded, which means the outstanding is greater than the limit. Okay, this is going to take a little time because you've got 3,400 accounts. It has to compute the balance for each of the accounts. Yes, now you see, we got this. There are totally 2,734 accounts here in this case, where it also tells me what is the limit. Now, if I just sort this, now you see here, what did we do? Sum of limit. In this case, the outstanding is 0, which means probably the loan is sanctioned and the amount has not yet been disbursed. Okay, let me do it the reverse way. If you just sort it, you should be able to sort it. Now, based on this, I'm able to get this information. It looks like most of the cases we got a negative balance. Okay, so if the limit has been exceeded, I should have got a positive balance. I should also be able to find out that. Okay, now let's come to one more criteria. Let's say I've got this limit. Now I want to group this limit. I want to know what are the type of limit which have been granted, and I want to group them based on a particular category. Now I don't know what is the minimum limit or what is the maximum limit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a function called stratify. Now here stratify based on, just you should be able to clear, you should be clear about what you want to select. I'm selecting the limit. Okay, and the total, I can select the limit itself. Okay, now here I have got, it gives me the range. The minimum value is 779 and the highest value is about 2 crores. Okay, now let's say I want to pick up all accounts which are, okay, let's go with the same thing. And I say fill. Now it gives me the grouping. Now if I say okay, now just tell me if the same function was done in Excel, how much time it will take. Now here I got the complete list of all the accounts. Now here if you see, the loan between 779 and 20 lakhs is 3,308 and it constitutes about 96%. Okay, similarly here I get this particular one loan account which is about 2 crores. I want to see the details. I can see what is the type of loan which has been granted, to whom it has been granted. Okay, now let's say this limit seems to be too high. I want to put my own limits. I can go here. Again, I can say I can go to stratify, numeric. I'm just giving you an example of one file. You can just use this concept applied to any file. So what is that I want to pick? I want to pick based on the limit. Now here I want to total the limit. Okay, now I got this one. So I'll go to free interval. Here I'm going to say I want amount which is, let's say, greater than 1 lakh up to, let's say, 1,000, 10 lakh. Is it 10 lakh? Okay, let me just get this clear. We got 1,000, 10,000. Yes. Okay. Let me copy and paste this. Okay. Here I'm going to once again paste this. Let's say I make it as 30 lakhs. Okay, I'm just going to just give a few fields just to, for illustration. Okay, I've got this. Let me give one more. Okay. So here I'm saying 50 lakhs to 1 crore. Okay. And then I say, okay. Now you see the result, interesting result. Now between 10 lakhs to 1 crore, we got 2,802. And then between this 1 crore to, okay, I think there are some cases we don't have the data. It also gives the lower bound, which means which are the things which are below the limit I've given. Probably I've not given the amounts correctly. I can also extract these details. So it means you can define what are the type of stratification you want to do. Based on that, you can get the result. Okay, we got the result. Now let's say same thing can I do for the this one outstanding? Yes, I can also do based on the outstanding. I want to group them. Let's try this out. I've got this outstanding, stratify, numeric. Now just look at the simplicity of the software. What is that I have to select? I have to select the outstanding. If I just give O, I've got this here. Similarly, I select the outstanding here. Now it gives me this is a range which in which the date is there. I say fill. I say OK. It computes the minimum and maximum, divides it by the difference by 10, and it computes the, this is by default. Now these are the 6 type of limits which are available. Now here also you see between 80 lakh 317, there are 3,335, which means 97% of the loans, which is 3,335 account, maximum loan accounts constitute in this particular range. Now you want to rearrange the this one stratify limit, you can go and rearrange and give your own range. Okay, now let's come to one more interesting thing. I've got this interest rate. Now I'm going to ask some interesting questions for this. For each type of a group, I want to know what are the highest and the lowest. So there is a function called the relative size factor. I want to get the result based on this, which means what is the first highest interest rate and what is the second interest rate for each type of a account description, for each type of a loan. How do I do this? I've already done this. I'll show you the result and then I'll show you how it can be done. Now this is what is called as the relative size factor. Now if you see here, what does the relative size factor tell me? It tells me for each category of loans, if you look at the total number, there are 80 types of loans. Okay, this gives me what are the total number of loans. What are the first maximum interest rate? What are the second maximum interest rate? What are the relative variance? And what is the difference in percentage? Which means in the interest rate, there is a difference of 20%. If you see here, the difference between 11.75 and 9.8 is 20%. Okay, so we can actually analyze and check whether this interest rate has been changed during the period, whether this difference is acceptable. Okay, how do I perform this? If you want to do this in Excel, I am sure you can do this. It will take a lot of time to do this. I'm going to show you how you can perform this in a very, very simple way in using ECAT. Now I go to analysis. There is a function called relative size factor. I click on relative size factor. Now here, you should be very clear about what is that you're selecting. There are only 2 fields you have to select here. Okay, what is that you want to select? You want to select the account description, which is the category. Okay, now you can go and select next thing is the interest rate. That's all. These are the 2 fields you have to select. Now there are so many things that it's got. You forget about everything. Say okay. Now this will compute the relative size factor, which means for each category of a loan, it will find which is the highest interest rate, which is the second highest rate, what are the difference, and what are the in terms of percentage, what is the difference in terms of percentage, and it will put in a descending order. So at one glance, you'll be able to identify if there are any irregularities in that interest rate. Now you see totally there are 80 types of categories of loans we have got. Now if you see here, I got the first maximum rate, second maximum rate, relative variance, relative size factor, and it also gives me the percentage. Now I want to sort it based on the highest or the lowest. Now here I'll be able to get the difference. Now let's say here we selected this what is called as the relative size factor. This is one of the important techniques which is used in fraud investigation. Let's say I want to know the difference between the maximum and the minimum interest rate. For that also we got one more function which I've already performed here. I got the result here if you see. So what does it tell me? For each category of loan, it gives me the maximum interest rate and minimum interest rate, and it tells me this particular difference. Now here I can go and check. Okay, bank deposit looks like there is an interest rate. Minimum is 5.9%, the highest is 10%. In other case, this FITL COVID-19, the interest rate maximum is 14.35, the lowest is 9%. So it means I can go analyze why there is such a big difference, especially in the some accounts, which means wherever the difference more than 25%, I can analyze this. How do I perform this function? Just see how simple it is to perform this analysis. This is where I said you can perform powerful analytics in a few clicks. What do I do? And just imagine how much time it will take to learn this. I got analysis. I go to maximum variance factor. Now here I'm going to select account description. Next, what I'm going to select? the interest rate. Now same thing, just let me take a pause here and say I got the purchase data. I got the purchase data and I want to know what is the purchases for each material code. So I can select the material code and I can select the unit price. I'll be able to get the same difference. So I can apply to anywhere where standard rate is applicable. I've got this data. I say okay. See, in a few seconds, we got this result. What does it tell me? So if you see here, I already showed the result. Maximum interest rate, minimum interest rate, what are the variance? Now you want this to be saved in Excel, just click here, it will be saved in Excel. And I want to do further analysis, I can also do further analysis. Let's say in this case, I want to pick up which are the rates where the variance is greater than 25%. I can just go here and say greater than 25%. Here I say greater than, and let's say I get 25%. And give me which are the ones which are greater than 25%. Or let's say greater than 20%. I can get this. With this, what I said, you can make the data talk based on the questions you want to ask. Right? Now I've got these details. Now I got the sanction date. This is also another interesting date. I want to know what are the loans which have been sanctioned during the year, and I want to know year-wise details. I want to know the limit and the outstanding for each category. So for this, what do? There is a function called MIS. I go to MIS. Now here, what do? I pick sanction date is already picked up by default. I want based on the limit. Okay, now it tells me there are different types of statistics you can get. You can get day of the year, day of the week, month. I want to just get based on the month. So I say month, which means this will compute for all the sanction dates which are there. Month-wise, it will give me the count and the sum. So in a jiffy, we got the result. If you see here, I got all the results for all this particular period, which means what is the month, what is the year, what are the count of loan which has been given. Now here I want to pick up all cases pertaining to, let's say, 2021. Now this is based on the 2021. These are the last 2 quarters. Similarly, I want to pick up 2020. I can pick up this. Or in MIS itself, I can put a condition. I want all loans which are greater than 1,420. I'll be able to pick up all the loans which are greater than 1,420. Now this gives me a perspective. Now if I look at this, I just sort this. It tells me right from the beginning till now, if it is sorted, which is the period on which the loans have been given. So there have been loans which are 2014. There are no limits at all, but there is a some limit which is there. So based on that, I can, because most of the loans have been cleared, so the percentage is very negligible. Now here, can I pick up based on the year wise? Yes, I can just enter the year. Based on that, I can pick up that information. Now I want to pick up based on the count. So this way I can do dynamic analysis. I just do a single click. I'll be able to know which month the maximum loans have been given. See, in October 2020, 230 loans have been given, and I have got this limit. I want to know which month the maximum amount of limit has been sanctioned. I just go here, sort it. Now I know in March 2021, it looks like the bank has gone overboard and given a lot of loans. Okay, whereas in January also the second highest. In December also we got second, this one, quite a lot of loans, which is how much? 7 crore, 10 lakh, 1,700. Okay, so I can just go and analyze, okay, what are this type of loans which have been given, and I can pick up whether there's any done window dressing. So for example, let's say I want to go here, I want to pick up these loans, I just double click. I can extract all these loans. There are totally 126 loans which have been given. And I can do save this and do further analysis is required. Now same information, let's say I want this analysis, MIS. I want to analyze, let's say, what are the loans which have been granted, limits which have been granted as per day of the week. Because bank is not supposed to work on a Sunday. I want to know whether they are granted any loans on Sunday. Okay, I said day of the week. Now this should be able to give me what are the loans which have been sanctioned as per each day of the week. Now if you see here, it looks like Sunday 30 loans have been given. Monday, Tuesday, like that, I have got the loans for each day of the loans. Now this is for all the loans. Now I want to pick up only loans which are there for the current year. So what I'll do is, in this case, I go to the sanction date. In the sanction date, I deselect all and I select 2021. Okay, in 2020, I select this and I'm going to deselect Jan, Feb, and March. So it means I've got loans. Okay, which means that totally 1,479 loans which have been granted during the year. Now I want to do analysis separately for these loans. What do? I have to copy and paste. Instead of that, we have got a function in ECAT called as extract visible cells. When you click on this, what it does is all the cells which are visible, it be copied, and now see, it's like copy and paste it did with all the formatting being maintained. Let's look at the total number. You see here 1,479, 1,480, including the header row. Now this is the where I want to do the analysis. Now I want to see whether loans have been sanctioned, on what day the loans have been sanctioned. Now this is where I said you can do various types of analysis. I can come to MIS. Now what is that I want to do? I want to pick up based on the limit. This sanction date is already taken. Now here I come to MIS. Now what I want to do is based on day of the week. That's all. Now you see, I should be able to get to know. It looks like 19 loans have been given on Sundays also. Loans have been sanctioned on Sundays also. And now if you look at the pattern, okay, on what day the loan is highest, on what day the loans are the lowest, and look at the limits numbers, you find Wednesday there seems to be maximum number of sanctions. I got the count here. I want to look at this Sunday. I just go here, double click Sunday. I'll be able to pick up which are the loans which are sanctioned on Sundays. And I'll look at, okay, why this, what is the special thing about this that's sanctioned on a Sunday, right? This is what I did. Now, can I do this? There are various other criteria. Now, let's say I'm doing an audit. Now, I don't want to do analysis for each of this. Now, I've got this MIS. I want MIS, all these MIS at one go. Okay, I don't want to be performing these functions at each of the places. Now, let's say I want to do for the outstanding. Okay, and I have this MIS. I want all these MIS. So I say select all. In that case, what do you think will happen? Now it cannot go and show you the result at one go. What this software will do is it will actually create Excel. It will work in the background. It will create an Excel sheet and give you the result for each of this in a separate worksheet. If you click this, please enter the sum of the days here, because I have got the sum of the days. Let's say I'm giving a category based on each of sum of days. For the timing, let's say I remove this. Now I got this. Just to do it a little more faster, I'm going to remove. Okay, let's give this. It doesn't matter. Now, what do you expect to see? I've selected about, let's say, see, it's actually computing last year result, weekly results, all these things it's computed, and it's going to add the. Now you see, you've already added the worksheet for each of them. Now, if you see here, I got MIS day wise. Or it means day wise, I could get to know what are the loans which have been sanctioned. I get to know MIS month wise what has been sanctioned. I know quarter wise what has been sanctioned, year wise, and even weekday wise. And I also got day of the year. Okay, first day of the year, second day of the year, like that I know for each of the 12 months on what day how many loans have been granted, so that I can see the patterns. I can also based on the week. Okay, first week how many have been granted, so that I can see if there any window dressing on any particular month they have done anything. So it means I'm able to get all these results at one go. Okay, now I've got so many sheets. Now I'm not sure how many sheets are there. So what I would like to do is there is a special function in ECAT called as index sheets. I say index sheets. Now see, the index sheet will actually dynamically add the index sheet for each of them. Did I click this? Now you see it's already added the index sheet. Now if you see, I want to go to MIS week of the year. I click on this. I can go to the month of the year. Now here I've got this. I want to go to the this one. Now here itself, it gives me a complete summary. What are the number of rows, everything. Okay. So I can go to navigate to any specific section like this. Okay. I hope you got a general idea what can be done. I just picked up one file. So I thought practically I'll show you how data analytics can be done. Now, is there any other analysis? For example, let's say, let me just quickly walk you through some of the results we already got, some of the files. For example, I showed you irregular date. So what are the dates based on this? Now you've got there something called irregular date. Now I find there are 2,682 accounts for which they're not entered this field at all. Okay, it also tells me, which means probably this is a date on which the loan became irregular, which has been directly from the system. This based on the classify arrange, which means based on the name I have arranged this data. Based on the customer name, I already got the data. Now here, if you see, based on the stress, they've already got this category, blank and no, which means stress means probably this loan is moving towards NPA. They already got that column there. So based on that, I got this. Now all this result, how did I get all this result? This is based on the RA date. Similarly, here I got the write-off flag. There's 39 accounts which I put the write-off flag, F, which means probably these are flagged off for write-off, or these are NPA accounts which are to be written off. So here this is a write-off again. So I'm able to get this all the data at one go. For example, if you see here, how do I get all the result? I can do one thing. Let's come to advances. What I can do is come to data. I said classify. Now here, what do? I can select all these fields, which means if I select all these fields, and I also want to select what is the total. Let's say I want to select the total amount. And if I say, okay, now it cannot show, let's say there are 20 fields, it cannot compute and show you the result online. What it'll do is it'll add an Excel sheet for each of them. So it means I can generate the result in a jiffy, and then I can do it, spend more time in doing the analysis. This is what is possible. Okay, now this is about the loan advance file. I just picked up some example to show you how you can audit a practical this one using a loan audit file. Okay, let me close this file. I want to show you a few more things before we go. I have one more file called as the test data. Now this is what I've got. Now here, let's say I got this procurement file. This is a famous file we generally use. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to show you. Now in this case, I got a function called search. Now let's go to highlights. I want to highlight, are there any inconsistent formulas? Okay, which means wherever formula has been applied, I should know where the formula has been applied. I know quantity. Before that, let me check here. So if you see here, quantity, unit price, and this formula has been applied. I want to know whether this formula has been consistently applied. Are there any differences in the formula? So what do? I go here, highlight, inconsistent formula. Now there will be about 2000 fields. I'm not sure about how many number of fields are there in this, rows are there in this. So what is that I want to do? I want to find out in the amount. That's all. And what is the filter based on the color? Yes, I say filter based on the color, based on the amount. I can also say what color I want. Say I want it, let's say in red. Okay, which means wherever the inconsistent formula, I want highlighted in red. I say okay. Now you see, in a few seconds actually identified. In this case, if you see here, this person instead of entering the formula, he's actually manually entered it. Here also is manually entered the result. See here, instead of into, he has put plus. Here you see once again, this has been multiplied by some number. So it means now here they have given minus. So it means these are all wrong formulas which have been applied. In the 1200, let me look at the total number. Now in the total number, which is about 1100, I've been able to pick up 13 cases where there are inconsistent formulas. And this is what I could do in a few seconds. Now let's pick up one more case where I have got this, let's say I got this sales with items where I got the user ID. Okay, and I've got the sales authorization limit where I got the user IDs. Now I want to do an authentication check. Okay, which means I want to check all the transactions which have been entered, are they within the limit? Now if you see the number of accounts here, there are about 6,670, and the number of users, I got about 16 or 15. Okay. Now I want to do a matching, and based on that, I should be able to do this. I'll do this in two ways. I think I'll take another 5 to 10 minutes. Let me close. Let's come back. ECAT Enterprise. I'm going to use a function. Let directly go to the template. Yes, I've got a function, specific function called authentication check. Now here, I should be clear about what I'm going to select. Two fields, sales with items. Here I'm going to select sales, sales off limit. Yes, this is what I wanted. Okay, now there is a user ID. Now you see here, I also given the steps so you don't miss out. So step 3 is this, step 4 is this, and here you say equals, right? Now here, what is the next step? Step 6, pick up the sales amount. Step 7 is the authorization limit, and step 8 is greater than. How much simpler can we make the software? So I'm doing an authentication check, or you can call it segregation duties, which means I'm checking whether all the transactions which have been entered are within the limits. I have to just say, okay. Now this should be able to pick up and tell me which are the exception transactions, which means what are the transactions where the loan amount is sanctioned, sales amount is entered greater than the limit, which means that totally, if you see here, 89 accounts are there where this is the sales amount. This person's limit is actually 80,000. He has entered 85,000. So here his limit, this person, let's say SB limit is 1,50,000. These amount entered is 1,52,000. The limit is actually 1,50,000. Now I want to pick up all the cases based on, let's say, NJ. Now I'll be able to pick up and see how many number of transactions he has entered. Similarly, let's say I pick up all the accounts pertaining to, let's say, SF. So this is how I can dynamically analyze the data. Okay, now let's say I want to do a Pareto analysis based on this. I want to look at based on this particular sales which happened. As per the dealer wise, I want to know who has bought the maximum. I can do an analysis based on the Pareto principle. I come to Pareto. So what is Pareto? 80-20 rule. In this case, you should be clear what is that I want to select. The field to select is name of the dealer. No, I want to select the sales amount. Yes, I want to select the sales amount. Okay, now here I want to group it based on the name of the dealer, right? Now, that's all. If I want to do any further analysis, I can also select the second field. So it means based on each of the dealer, I want to find out the sales amount, and I want based on the result form, or I can get it in Excel sheet directly. Now here I say okay. Now if you see here, out of all the amount, 80% of the transactions constitute, let's say 4,332 constitute 80%. It also tells me the percentage. Now here, if you look at this again, here it tells me there are 1,333 accounts which actually constitute this particular percentage. Now let's do the same thing as per the name of the dealer. Here we got the customer. Okay, let's do as per the product. They're also based on the product I can pick up. Let me pick up one more thing. Let's say I got the sales stance. Let me do it as per the customer name. The same thing. Now instead of Pareto, let me do the ABC analysis. ABC is 60, 30, and 10. I can also do it for the inventory. Here I've just got this based on this particular category. Here I'm going to select the amount, which is the sales, and group by, I'm going to give based on the name. No, sorry, this is wrong. Yes, I have to select based on the name. And then 60, 30, 10. I can also go and change if I want. I want to make it 50, 30, 20. I can do that. I say okay. Now here I'm going to give the result and the Excel sheet. This is what I got. I think I didn't get the result. Maybe let's check this again. We made some mistake. I got the sales analysis ABC. So here, what did I select? I select the sales amount. Okay, here group by, I'm going to select the name. That's all. I think there's some issue with this. Let's see. I think there's some issue. Is not able to give the result. Let's see if we can do the Pareto analysis based on this. I've got this Pareto analysis. I'm going to select the sales and as a group by name. That's all. Okay, now if you see 3,611 constitute 80% of sales, and this 20% constitute 1,280 records. I can also group this further based on a particular category and get the result. Okay, this broadly what I want to cover. So like that, if you see, there are more than 380 functions which are available in ECAT. I just showed you a quick overview of probably about 20 functions which are there. Let me just come to this presentation. Let me see how many I covered in this. I think I covered most of them. Some of this compare files I've not covered. I've already covered this in other presentations. You can look at this. I think other functions, stratify I've done, aging I've done. Let me show you one important thing. I think last thing, compare files generally, I think if you see my presentations earlier, you're able to find this. I'll just show you one thing which is interesting, which is stratify aging. Okay, let me pick up a inventory file. I come to this. I got an inventory file. Yeah, I got the inventory list. Not inventory. Okay, inventory list. What you can do is, like I said, I can do the aging analysis based on this. For example, here, let's say I go to date and I want to do aging. I've got this inventory with the data purchase. Now it tells me 1/4 to this particular date. I just go and change the date to 31st March. Okay, this is the date. Now it tells me the lowest is 0,093. I'll just say I want it group based on 60 days. I say fill. See, this is the aging, which is very complex. I'm just doing it in a very simple way. I'll see here. I get the aging result for each strata based on 0 to 60 days. What is the number of count? 60 to 120. What is the number of count? And also get the value. Now here you see these are the outliers. It looks like in there are inventories which are greater than this particular category. So then I can go and further analyze which are this inventory item. I just double click, pick up this item. Probably these are the things which I want to pick up for analysis. Now let's say I want to do sampling based on this. You see sampling tab is disabled here. Same function is also available in the sampling tab. So when you do through sampling tab, the sampling tab will be enabled. Then I can go and say, now for example, let's say all these cases where is greater than 12 months I want to pick up. It will give me a checkbox. I can say select this and say extract. All these items will be extracted and give it to you in Excel, which you can analyze further. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is, let's say I got this receipt data. Now let's say I've got this particular aging two fields. Yeah, this is what I've got. I got the sales. Now let me show you. This is the last function. Yeah, I got the sale date. I got the receipt date. Okay, what I want to do is this, where I'm trying to bring in a little more complex function. Here I want to know, I want the software to compute the difference between the receipt date and the sale date, and then give me intelligent analysis of stratifying based on the number of days. Now how can I do this? You see, complex analysis in a very simple way. So I come to stratify. In stratify there is the aging. Now you have to select the field. You have to be clear about what is that you're going to select. Now primary field I'm going to select is the receipt date, and then I got the sale date. Okay, this clear? So it says minimum interval is 25. Automatically it's computed everything, and based on that it tells you the minimum date is like this. I've got this grouping here. I say fill. Now I say okay. Now for all the payments which have been received during the year, I'm able to know who are the parties who are paying within what limit or what boundaries. Let's say same thing is there for the loan file. I got this installment date and then what is the payment date. I'm able to get to know for who are the parties. Now, for example, in this case, you see, these are the parties who are paid between 195 to 199 days. These are the parties who are paid between 178 to 194 days. So I'm able to get quickly this information in a few seconds with a few clicks. Now just imagine doing this in Excel, how much time it will take to do it in Excel. I say Excel is an excellent tool. You can do anything, but the only thing is Excel is not designed for analytics. You can do simple analytics in that as it is designed, but you want to perform more data analytics as required by the data analyst. Especially you want to analyze the data as a data analyst and infer insights from information. This is where you have to use the data analytics function. Okay, so this I gave you a quick overview of what are the functions possible. Probably I covered about 20 or 25 functions, but I want to give a practical perspective of how you can ask questions to data and get this information. I also want to show you one more thing. Let's say rerun, auto documentation. All that you've done is automatically documented. So if you see here, what time did I perform? What is the result I got? Everything I have got this result. Now I want to auto document it. I can say view in Excel. This will be saved in Excel. I want to rerun this function, what I performed. I say rerun, this function will be re-performed again. Now I have something called auto rerun. This is what we thought about recently, what is called as the E-lambda. We said, why don't we perform this? Which means I got a particular functions, list of functions. I want to perform all these functions. I said, you say multiple rerun, it will open all these functions. I can say all these functions, what are select functions in there, I can perform. It also tells me what are the parameters which are used and what are the user statistics. Okay, so now this is going to take a long time. I think I clicked wrongly. So this is going to, I can also save this. For example, I performed 20 types of functions. I want to save this and want to perform again. I can give a name for this, save this as a template. I can re-perform the function once again. Okay, this is what is possible. Okay, I'll stop sharing the screen. If you got any questions, 5 minutes, I'll be able to take your questions. I hope you got a perspective of what data analytics is all about and how you can perform data analytics. Any questions? Let's see if there's any question. Is there any favorite options where you can park minimum function? We generally use excellent. In fact, recently we added this. This will be coming in the next release. We added a new function called favorites. Okay, so where you got this, let me show you this. Let me share the screen once again. What we do is, for example, let's say now you don't know where this function is. We have got something called search and run. So when you do search and run, so you can go and search and run any function. For example, let's say I want to perform a function called outlier. Now this tells me outlier. I just give outlier directly and say run. It will open that particular form. Okay, this is where whatever function you want, you can directly it will open that particular form so that you can perform that particular function. I think there are some issue in this which you are resolving. Yeah. Now, if you come to the favorite, this is what I was talking about. In this issue, we have resolved this because there's some mismatch between the name and this here. Now you got the favorites. Here I have the list of favorites. Now all the functions that are available are given here. Now I have to just go and select. These are the functions I want to add as favorites. I can select whatever functions I want and say add to favorites. That will be added to favorites. And you want to run, directly double click on this. You can run the function. You'll be able to perform the function. Okay, any other question? So this webinar is being recorded. I'll also share a recording of this webinar so that this could be useful for you, and you can also share with your team. Thanks a lot. I'm happy that this session went off well. Tomorrow I'll be going to cover the same functions. No, not necessarily same functions. I think because I keep on changing my ideas, I keep on getting new ideas. I'm going to show through a separate software and independent software called as Softcat. If you see the difference between ECAT, what I showed you in ECAT is an add-in to Excel. You can also perform, the limitation is because Excel has got its own limitation. Although we use an independent database for this, we use Access at the back end. But in case Excel, probably let's say 1 to 5 lakh records maximum is what you can handle. But you've got larger number of records. We got an independent software where you can perform the functions at one, you can perform the functions independent software called as Softcat. I'm going to cover the same thing in a webinar tomorrow. Okay, the next question, when we can expect schedule 3 software? Okay, the schedule 3 is one thing which is getting postponed. I hope to do it in next 3 to 4 weeks. I'm working on this. I think I'm in the final stage, but somehow I'll be able to find time and finish it. Yes, I'll come back to you on schedule 3 software. How do you get a complete list of all the functions in the description? Now there are 2 places where you can get this complete list of functions. Let me show this. Let me share the screen. One is when you buy the software, we will give you the list of all the functions which are available in the software. Not only that, if you go to our website, we also made it available to you. If you go to website, now if you see here, you go to this particular software, let's say ECAT Enterprise. Now if you go to the functions here, you'll be able to have a quick walkthrough of all the functions here. Okay, all the functions are available, but this PDF file itself we share it to the customers so that you can get to know. So which means you want to have a quick walkthrough, you can know what are the functions. It gives you a brief description which is the panel, which is the menu, which is the function, and what does the function do. And also you can get a good perspective all the data analysis functions which are available at one go. Anything else? Okay, thank you very much. Namaste, take care and stay safe. Look forward to see you in the future. Bye.